All right, gang, Steve Austin coming at you. I want to thank you for hitting that download button and checking out today's Unleashed show. I'm telling you, shit's going to fly today. I'm taking live calls from you guys. We're going to get to it right after a word about Pro Flowers. And, hey, you better listen up because this is going to save your chump ass on Valentine's Day. Hell, this is going to save my ass on Valentine's Day. Dig it. Pro Flowers. Check it out, gang. Because you listen to my show, you can get 1 dozen red roses with a free glass vase for just $29.99. And we all know how much chicks dig red roses. Or if you really want to step your game up, you can upgrade to 1 dozen red roses with a premium ruby vase and gourmet chocolates for just $9.99 more. Hey, guys. This is the way to go on Valentine's Day, you feel me? And I ain't even going to tell her that it was me who gave you this deal. You can take all the credit yourself. You can be the smartest sumbitch in the world. Pro Flowers is quick and easy, and they guarantee delivery on Valentine's Day. They take forgetting right out of the damn equation. But here's the only way to get this deal. You got to go to proflowers.com, click on the blue microphone in the top right corner, and type in Unleashed. So go there now to order 1 dozen red roses with a free glass vase for $29.99 or upgrade to a premium vase and gourmet chocolates for just $9.99 more. Hey, keep your sorry ass out the doghouse this Valentine's Day. You understand what I'm talking about. Go to proflowers.com, click on that little blue microphone in the top right corner, type in Unleashed, and order now.
The following program is a podcast1.com production.
He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're going to take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show. Unleashed. Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. Hey, I got some good news about the Steve Austin Audio Whoop-Ass T-shirts. We ship it internationally now. That gimmick is all worked out. People from around the world said they wanted Steve Austin Show Audio Whoop-Ass T-shirts, and we delivering. Now, we're focusing on getting the larger size T-shirts made for you 3X and 4X folks out there who listen to the show. You wanted it, you got it. Coming to your ass real soon. As soon as I got them, we shipping them. If you ain't got your shirt yet, go to podcast1.com, click on the store link, and order one of them motherfuckers. Hey, they're badass black T-shirts, so you can spill a bunch of shit on them, and they still look clean. Take it from me, a guy who wears camo and black. Black T-shirts are the best, and that's the bottom line. Why? Because my ass said so, and I'm authority on black fucking shirts. Hey, I said back in the day we was going to open up the phone lines and take calls from human beings that listen to the show. I sent a tweet out last night on Steve Austin BSR, and I got a bunch of phone calls fixing to come in where you will voice your opinions on what's going on as far as WWE is concerned. A couple of weeks ago, the Royal Rumble happened. Daniel Bryan ain't getting the push he deserves. CM Punk takes his ball, goes home. They're building up a WrestleMania card for number 30 in New Orleans. All that stuff we're going to talk about. So I don't need to sit here and flap my gums anymore. The phone lines are ringing off the hook. Stacy, give me the wave through the glass to get off the damn microphone so we can start answering questions and make the Steve Austin Show Unleash your platform to get a little bit of 411 exchange with myself and voice your opinion. So, without any other further ado, here we go. We got Tyler on the line. Tyler, what's happening? What you got?
Hi, Steve. I just want to say I'm a big-time fan. I watched you ever since I can remember. You were my first wrestling moment of my life when you hit The Rock with the steel chair and made Mankind World Heavyweight Champion.
Hey, somebody had to do it, and I'm glad it was me. What's on your mind this morning? You want to talk a little bit about WWE?
Yes, I do. Of course, the Royal Rumble, and it was probably the worst Royal Rumble I have ever seen in my life. My question is, who should we poke the finger to the blame about this? Should we blame Hunter or Vince McMahon? Hunter's being more into the creative aspect, and dirt sheets are going around saying that Vince doesn't want anything to want Triple H anything to do with the CM Punk thing, and people are saying they're doing damage control. Maybe Vince made a mistake or Hunter made a mistake. Do you think we should try to put the blame on one of them?
Man, if you're going to point a finger, I think you got to go to Vince McMahon first. He's the bottom line. He's still the guy that's in charge, and he's calling all the shots. And I think certainly Triple H has his thoughts, and I think on many occasions they're on the same page. On other occasions, maybe not so much. So I think you could, throw a little bit of accountability to Triple H. At the end of the day, it is still Vince McMahon calling the shots, so I think you got to go to him first. What was your major frustration with the Royal Rumble?
Well, at the beginning, probably the best match of the night was Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. Both were tremendous. And at the end, I did predict Bray Wyatt winning. I figured, it made Daniel Bryan look a little bit weak, but you know what? He'll be at the Royal Rumble. He'll win it. He'll overcome it. And they will continue with the Authority storyline that kind of left us hanging. And then, at everyone's opinion, when number 30 hit, Rey Mysterio came out, it kind of went down here. I'm surprised it wasn't like an ECW kind of thing when everyone's throwing stuff. And
now, when you say it went downhill, it's because your expectations were, even though Daniel Bryan had already wrestled in the first match, your expectations were he was also going to be in the Rumble. Correct?
Correct.
And then Rey Mysterio comes, and, Rey Mysterio has been, an outstanding guy in the squared circle for many, many years. And I thought it was a real bad booking decision on, in my head to put him in that 30 spot because ultimately the people there wanted that to be Daniel Bryan, and Rey Mysterio got the boos because it wasn't what they expected. And I thought that was a real bad spot to put Rey in. It would have been a real good spot to put a heel in.
I felt really bad for Ray. And I felt bad not only for Ray, but we had the returning Sheamus, who looked phenomenal, but the crowd just booed him because he wasn't Daniel Bryan. Same with Big E Langston, and as soon as we saw CM Punk getting knocked out, I guess the internet wrestling community felt cheated, so they didn't want
do you consider yourself a part of the internet wrestling community?
Yes, I do.
Now, are you looking to be more, are you just purely, booking oriented of here's what they should do, or are you looking at what they're doing in the ring and just following storylines? Because, there's a line right there when you're thinking, okay, pure booking or just taking what you're seeing. So you're looking a little bit deeper, and y'all are looking more into booking so much more than the quote-unquote storylines they're giving you, and why Daniel Bryan would be one of the guys perceived as being held back.
Well, I like to look at it both ways because, this is strictly entertainment to me as well, because, I watched it for many, many years and I still want to be entertained. But, I'm kind of mixed with it because people like Jim Cornette, they want the pure wrestling out of it, and I also like a little soap opera, and Daniel Bryan is the most talented in-ring competitor I've seen. And I don't want that kind of talent to go to waste because he is so much entertaining. People say he's not as good, when he's on the microphone shooting a promo, but his in-ring ability speaks for itself, and especially how he can control the crowd. A couple weeks ago at the Steel Cage with Bray Wyatt, he had the crowd at the palm of his hands. The slow yes chants was the best thing I've seen since the Attitude Era with you and The Rock and Mankind. We just want we don't want people like Great Khali taking the time when we have so many other underused talent like Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler, who Dolph Ziggler just shoot a promo on the WWE app just last Friday. And we just felt like the talent needs to be pushed forward a little bit more rather than the soap opera. They're a majority of the drama, and the people who don't deserve to be there, like I wouldn't say deserved to be there, but Batista, for example, who just.
So, what were your thoughts on Batista coming in there? He comes in, his 4 years gone, he comes back, and many people were happy to see him, but ultimately, people wanted Daniel Bryan to win that Royal Rumble, and then there for a brief moment, a lot of people wanted Roman Reigns to win that thing. And obviously, too early to give Roman Reigns that win. That's going to be a slow build, and that kid's got a great run ahead of him. So, but a little bit of disappointment, I think, just because of the fact Daniel Bryan once again wasn't there at the final part of that Royal Rumble.
Batista. I enjoyed Batista 4 years ago when his heel turn. I enjoyed it, and I had no problem with Batista coming back. It's just that he returned on that Monday Night Raw. 6 days later, he wins the Royal Rumble.
A little bit too soon for you.
Yeah, it's like, well, you should at least give him a little bit of time. Didn't let him go into the world title hunt, but 6 days, it just, and especially, he looked so gassed out, and he was only in the ring for 12 minutes, I believe. And he seemed pretty gassed out. He seemed pretty tired, out of shape. For a couple weeks of hype, you would think he would at least work out a little bit better, I suppose. I don't know.
Well, once you get in that ring and you get in front of that crowd and you start going full bore, you can be doing any kind of little training that you do on the side, but being in front of that live crowd is a whole different element. And, maybe you got a little bit of gassed out there, maybe got a little bit blown up out there. And then again, a couple of guys did. But that being said, I appreciate you calling in this morning. One last question. With this seemingly lack of a green light push for Daniel Bryan, how patient are fans like yourself for the WWE to push him? Because I think that if you have a good thing, and as hot as that kid is right now, you might as well heat that son of a bitch up as hot as you can get him, because he's gotten this hot with really not a lot of green light push, and seemingly with a lot of obstacles thrown in his way almost intentionally. And there's a window of opportunity for anybody that gets in this business. And I think if they don't move now or in the near future or pay this thing off fully at WrestleMania and give this kid the run, that window will start to close. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I can somewhat speak to the internet wrestling community that we are pretty worn out right now with the Daniel Bryan. We felt like his thing's been going on since SummerSlam of last year, and we felt like he deserved it by the end of the year, and right now, I would say the internet wrestling community's patience is wearing fairly thin. I go to you're familiar with Reddit, right?
Sure.
Yeah, the Square Circle subreddit, they are pretty mad about how Daniel Bryan's been treated, and I'm not one of them, but they're even giving up the purchase of the network because of how they treat Daniel Bryan and CM Punk now.
So what would you tell the powers that be at WWE right now in 15 seconds? Go for it.
Give Daniel Bryan the title. This is what we've been wanting for SummerSlam. We want it, and you ruined it for WrestleMania main event, but just give it to us the best way possible.
Well, that being said, there's still, several weeks coming to see what actually unfolds at WrestleMania. So it's all positioning. I think they put some stuff on the chessboard. They can move that around in the build up to that. But certainly they've established the pieces. Where those pieces ultimately end up on WrestleMania 30 is another thing. But they're certainly putting their feelers out there. And it's calls like this that will, maybe they will hear this and form their opinions. They've got to listen to their fan base at some point. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling this morning. I appreciate you listening to the show. I'll catch you down the road, all right?
All right, thank you, Steve.
Hey, what's happening, Brandon? What you got going on this morning?
What's going on, Steve Austin? Good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you. Talking about WrestleMania 30 down the road, talking about the Royal Rumble, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, anything you want to talk about in those regards. What you got for me?
I just wanted to know what you think, or what do wrestlers do in the ring when they completely lose the audience? Because John Cena and Randy Orton, I feel, at the Royal Rumble, lost the crowd, and I don't know if they really ever got them back.
Man, I don't know if they even had them. I think that was a match that people have seen so many times that they weren't too interested in seeing it again. And I say that with all due respect to Randy Orton, John Cena, who I have the utmost respect for as guys in the squared circle. Man, sometimes that's a case of when that crowd goes like that and they wanted something else and they weren't giving it to them. And I think specifically it was the Daniel Bryan situation. They weren't happy with what they'd seen thus far, and they weren't too interested in that match, again, because I think they've seen it too many times. So what happens inside that squared circle when things start going that wrong? You can kind of see the looks on their faces. Every now and then you see them kind of play to them. And basically it's a position where, you know what to do, but also you don't. You don't know where to shit or wind or watch because, you got two of the top guys out there. You're trying to do something to elicit a response. Once you get that response, you proceed to, go down the road and continue your match. But you're basing what you do off the feedback from that crowd. So when all of a sudden they start catcalling and talking about this guy and making chants about another guy, it really just totally puts a roadblock as far as the flow of your match. And I think the guys did absolutely the best they could do by just sticking to the task at hand and working their match. But certainly you feel it inside your guts when that crowd is not with you. And, I think, again, it just goes back to the crowd not being interested in the booking of that match, and it had been done before. I also think maybe a jump start to that match might have facilitated a little bit hotter reaction by the crowd.
Thank you so much.
Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in, Brandon.
No problem, man. Thanks.
Take care. Appreciate it. Listen to the show. All right, Dave, I'm down there in Corpus Christi, Texas, down there in my neck of the woods in the 361. What you got for me, David?
I had a question just relating to the walkout. You've been there. Hindsight's 2020. You've talked about all the things. It's the one regret you had in your illustrious career. It was not walking out. First of all, what advice do you have for CM Punk at this point? And if you're CM Punk, what do you do?
Well, my advice for CM Punk would be to, hey, man, always let a cooler head prevail. And that advice was given to me back in the day in World Championship Wrestling by Leon White, working as Big Van Vader. I was having some contract issues. I was hotter than hell, and he just kind of settled me down. Now, I didn't follow that bit of advice later on in my career. I made many knee-jerk reactions, but nonetheless, I think CM Punk. Obviously frustrated with the storylines, obviously frustrated with what's going on there, not just with what, the situation he's in, but overall as far as the big picture. And, he kind of took his ball and went home. So I would say, hey, man, you take everything you do in life, it becomes very personal, whether it's your job, CM Punk's job, or anybody's job. And finally you get so fed up, you just take your ass home. So at the end of the day, man, when you've got a lot of miles left, on your career, I think you just relax, let everything settle down, have a talk with the old man, being Vince, get on the same page, and get your ass back to work. There's only a small window of time in a pro wrestler's life, and I think, you got to be productive and make that money while you can, and things aren't always going to go your way. Going back to when I walked out, I'd been running hard, and I was always the first guy in the building and the last guy to leave, and I was having a blast. But when I got that booking decision that, they wanted Brock to go over on me, I said, hey, piss on this. I'm taking my ass home. And I was home for 6 or 8 months until I got a card in the mail from Jim Ross. And we talked for a couple of hours, and me and Vince met in a hotel room and had a real come-to-Jesus meeting. And it was on about the 24th floor of a high-rise hotel in Houston, Texas. And I didn't know who's going to get thrown out the window, myself or him, or we was going to bury the hatchet. And we buried the hatchet, and in the process, I lost a lot of money. The WWE lost a lot of steam as far as the momentum that we had gained pushing me. So to answer your question, CM just got to step back, take a breath of fresh air, cool the jets, get his head back together, and get on back to work. Again, you breach your contract. They kind of had me. I couldn't do anything other than ride my contract out, and I didn't get any checks being sent to my mailbox during this whole time. So I lost a shit pile of money. CM Punk probably is too. And sometimes things don't go your way at the job or in life, but you got to deal with them. So I say, have a meeting with Vince, get back on track, and get back in the storyline, and go to WrestleMania 30. Fulfill your contractual obligations, and then if you're then unhappy, move on down the road and do something else. What do you think you should do?
Personally, I think the guy, clearly there's similarities and differences between both y'all's walkouts. I don't know if the guy's necessarily interested in money at this point. I don't know if he's interested in wrestling. I've seen him do plenty of interviews and talk shows where he looked miserable about the product or maybe what he was doing personally. So if I were him, I would do whatever makes him happy, whether he thinks he could make it an MMA, comedy, stand-up comedy, do whatever is happy for him, I guess.
Now, is he a stand-up comic?
I don't know. It makes me laugh. You make me laugh. You should do stand-up comedy.
Well, I'm a pretty funny kid, but I'm not a stand-up guy. I got a lot of respect for those guys that go out on the road and do that. You got to understand, man, once you transition out of that 20 by 20 squared circle,
Sure.
You can do a lot of things because of your name, but if you don't do those things well, you will not succeed. So maybe it's a stand-up thing. Has he talked about getting into MMA?
It always seems like in interviews he's done with Harry Al-Thawani and other people who cover MMA, seems like he'd want to give it a go. Maybe try what Batista did and just give it a one shot, maybe put it away. Maybe he uses that notoriety, get him on UFC, and watch him get his ass kicked. Either way, it's people.
Man, I tell you what, a work environment is a whole different ball game from a shoot environment.
Sure.
And I think, when Batista kind of forayed into that, he did it more or less as a hobby and something that he was very passionate about, but I don't think he really had any aspirations of going to the top of the world of MMA and fought in some matches, but at the lower level. And I say this with all due respect to Dave, as I would to CM. But, man, the game, as I just watched UFC 169 the other day and watch every single pay-per-view those guys do, that bar has been raised to an astronomical level that some cat just coming off the pro wrestling circuit, you better be one tough son of a bitch to be able to make it there. And Brock made it for a little bit because of his amateur wrestling background. And he had the success that he did, fighting diverticulitis. So it's the rare breed that can cross over, and especially at the advanced stage for an entrance into a sport that CM Punk currently is. He's probably, 34, 35. That's old to start an MMA career.
Yeah, and he's already pretty beat up as far as, all the years he's played.
Absolutely. Hey, dude, I mean, when you're out there on the road, 300 days a year, taking the bumps he's taking, that big elbow off the top, all those suplexes, all that stuff compounds daily, just like interest. It catches up to you. So it's not like he's a spring chicken. With that being said, he's got a lot of miles left in the tank, whether it's pro wrestling, and I hope he goes back to that. I know that he's very passionate about the business, and because he's so passionate about the business, sometimes that makes you so damn hard-headed and stubborn that you're, so far in the forest that you can't see the trees. And, maybe enough time away, we'll give him a time to clear his head or whatever, because I haven't talked to Punk and I don't know exactly what's going on. But seemingly it's burnout. I know for me, I thought that I was being fucked with. I thought that they were trying to take me down a notch. And I just got fed up. Being a number one guy, when you get in a position that you can draw money and they want you to lose and you're trying to protect your job, your spots, your ass, everything, sometimes you lose sight of the big picture. I handled my situation in the worst way possible by getting on an airplane and going back to San Antonio and sitting on my ass for 8 months. So anyway, we'll see what happens with Punk. We got a couple of months build up before we get to WrestleMania 30. I'm on the optimistic side. I think CM Punk will be there. I may be wrong. I'm giving you the straight-up truth because that's what I know. I appreciate you calling in, bro.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for all the cans of audio whoop ass.
Oh, hell yeah. Catch your ass down the road.
Thanks, boss.
All right, folks, we're going to take some more phone calls and keep this session rolling because I'm digging talking about the business. But first, I got to show a little love to one of my sponsors, and I'm talking about LegalZoom. Hey, here's why you need to check out LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom can help you with two important things: getting your life organized and starting a business. Hey, get your life organized with a last will and testament or a living trust from LegalZoom. You can protect your assets, your family, and get yourself a little peace of mind in the process. Now, this is important, people. That's why I'm telling you this. And when it comes to starting a business, LegalZoom can save you lots of time and lots of money. LegalZoom has helped start over 1 million businesses, and LegalZoom gets the job done right. Listen to this. 9 out of 10 customers recommend LegalZoom to their friends and family because they get personalized, very affordable protection for the working man. LegalZoom's step-by-step process was created by a team of experts in law and technology. LegalZoom is not a law firm, but they can connect you with a third-party attorney and can provide you with self-help services. For special savings, enter Austin in the referral box at checkout. That's my last name in case you didn't know. AUSTIN. Don't let another day go by without protecting your family and your assets. From wills to trademark applications to powers of attorney, you can even get bankruptcy help. Go to LegalZoom.com. That's LegalZoom.com and enter Austin in the referral box at checkout. I did it, you do it, and that's the bottom line. All right, everybody, it's the Steve Austin Show, and I'm taking your phone calls live here in the studio. We're back for the attack. Moe, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. What you got for me today?
Hey, Austin, what's up, man? My name's Moe. I'm calling from Jersey.
Oh, Jersey. Good place to be, the Garden State. What kind of questions you want to talk about today?
Listen, first of all, I'm honored to be on the phone with you. You're one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. This is just an honor. I'm a little nervous, but, man, I'm excited.
Hey, don't be nervous. I'll come over to Jersey, drop you on that stack of dimes you call a neck. Bam, 1, 2, 3. You be looking up at them damn lights. Hey, no need to be nervous. I appreciate you listening to the show. What do you want to talk about today?
Listen, man, this is the thing, man. WrestleMania, we're on the road to WrestleMania, and this thing with CM Punk is just crazy, man. I saw the Royal Rumble. I always love the Royal Rumble, and I thought Punk was going to win it, but unfortunately, Jay screwed him over, and that sucked. And now I'm hearing that he walked out. I know that's what you did a number of years ago. What's happened with the company is just gone crazy, man. And now I just think the WWE is probably in serious danger because we're on the road to WrestleMania, and one of their biggest stars is gone. And they need to figure out something, honestly.
Yeah, but I tell you what, with CM Punk being gone, allegedly right now, what is your perception of Daniel Bryan's lack of a green light push?
It's sad. Daniel Bryan is basically better than half the roster. I'm going to say that. Him, Punk, I mean, those two should be leading the company like you and Rock did back in the Attitude Era. I just think Triple H is holding them back. Vince McMahon's holding them back. That's what makes me lose respect for Triple H, because I think he's got great talent on that roster. A lot of them are worthy to be world champions instead of Orton and Cena, but he's not giving them a chance.
But you are going to continue watching as they go to that WrestleMania 30, aren't you?
Of course.
They kind of got everybody by the short hairs because, what is the option? It's not like you can just turn the channel and go see WCW Monday Nitro because those days are gone. And TNA is TNA. We're talking about, and no disrespect to TNA because I've got a lot of friends down there working, but we're talking about the major leagues. We're talking about WWE. And so, Punk walking out. A long time before, WrestleMania comes around, I think they'll talk him back in. Daniel Bryan, this kid has gotten himself so hot without a lack of a green light push that I think that the writing is on the wall. If you don't move with this kid and don't strike while it's hot, you're going to miss the window. So I think in the coming weeks and months as we go into WrestleMania 30, the finale, and getting into the big show, they can still put him in a premier spot on that card. But you, as a fan, where's your frustration level with the lack of push for Daniel Bryan? Are you pissed off? Are you ready to turn the channel off and not go back? Where are you?
As a wrestling fan, of course I'm going to still support wrestling. That's my thing.
There you go.
That's bar none. But you know what? With WrestleMania approaching, like they say, anything can happen in WWE, so we may see some type of surprise.
Well, how about a surprise? How about you cut a 15-second on the WWE creative team and tell them what you want? Go.
Give Daniel Bryan the damn title. He deserves to be in the WrestleMania main event. No Cena, no Orton. Let's make it happen.
All right, man, I appreciate you.
And that's the bottom line.
And that's the bottom line because who said so?
Because Mo said so.
All right, Mo, I appreciate you calling into the show and letting your voice be heard. I'll catch your ass down the road.
All right, thank you, Steve. It's been an honor.
You got it. All right, we got David calling in from the UK. About the third or fourth time we tried to get his ass on the line. Finally, the technology holds through. How are you, David?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. What you got for me this morning?
Excellent. I just wanted to, obviously, in light of what CM Punk's done like the last 7 days, he's walked out. I just want to know what you think is the biggest difference in fan perception from when you, quote, took your ball and went home, unquote, to how fans feel now to what they did back then.
Man, I tell you what, I think his head is probably in about as close a spot as mine was back in the day. And, you know, I made a knee-jerk reaction to a booking decision that they had with me on a short-term basis. You know, I was down there in Columbus, Georgia, when I heard the creative for Monday Night Raw in Atlanta where they wanted me to do a favor for Brock Lesnar. And I said, oh, man, that's not a good idea because that's a pay-per-view match. That was a feud. That was an angle, and they just wanted to have that match right out of the blue. So I said, hey, man, piss on this. I'm out of here. Fuck you. And so I hauled ass home. And I think what has happened with CM Punk is mine was just instant, and Punk's has just been an accumulation of things, the territory, the system being booked in a way that he does not see fit, not specifically to his storylines, probably within all of the storylines in general, he is not impressed with the direction that the company is going. And I think he feels some people that he is close with or is a fan of is not getting their due respect or their due push, and other people are. And someone explained it to me the other day, and I can't remember who it was, but it was like they broke it down like it was a marathon match, and a marathon is 26.2 miles. And all of a sudden, you know, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, these marathon runners are carrying the torch, and at mile 26, with only 0.2 miles left to go, they hand the torch to someone else to finish the race.
I'll follow you.
I think he's in the. What's that?
It seems the same story. Like the last 2 or 3 years, The Rock comes in, he takes the title from Punk, and all these part-time guys are coming back, and they're just stealing it from the workhorses, so to speak, who are there day in, day out, busting their ass.
You know, I think the talent base is very thin. The roster is not very deep. I'm not knocking any of the superstars currently there, but obviously, you know, when The Rock comes back, that's The Rock, and that cat's knocking movies down worldwide. There's 3 times during the year where I can't go anywhere out here in Los Angeles without seeing Rock's face on a poster or on a bus. And, you know, there's a real good reason to bring The Rock back because he's earned it and he's a big-ass star. Dave, has gone for 4 years. He's come back. And maybe a little bit too soon to put him in that spot, but we'll see if things change there. But to go to Vince's mind, I just think the roster is a little bit thin on guys that he would like to headline WrestleMania and really draw in the buy rate that he's looking for. And I don't mean that as any disrespect to anybody in the game right now. It just goes to show how many guys they have that are truly over enough to make people want to spend that dollar. Now, when you talk about WrestleMania, sometimes, by and large, WrestleMania sells itself because it's the big show, and you want to see the payoff from all the storylines going in and where they're going to go coming out. But that being said, you got to have a strong 1-2, at least 1-2 punch in the semi-main and the main.
That's right. I agree. Absolutely. In my opinion, it's no knock to Dave because I really enjoyed Dave Bautista when he was in it before.
Sure.
But I just think bringing him back and just literally giving him that main event, I just don't think fans these days are going to buy it.
They might have bought it had Daniel Bryan got in the Rumble. Now, remember, Daniel Bryan had already wrestled on the card that night, and he wasn't guaranteed to be in the Rumble. People made the assumption that he would be in the Rumble, and that was on the people's part. But they just figured since he was in the building, he would be there. Had he at least made an appearance in the Rumble and someone had shit-canned him over the top, that might have saved Batista's ass, and they would have been more receptive to him winning that match. But the fact that Daniel Bryan wasn't even in it, and the fact that, they really wanted that number 30 spot, which was taken by Ray, to be Daniel Bryan, and it wasn't, they were pissed off. And I think they were going to be pissed off at whoever won. And even going down to the final two combatants, whether it was Batista and Roman Reigns, they wanted Roman Reigns to win on a cool factor.
Absolutely.
And you can't drop it that fast to Roman Reigns. That's got to be a slow build. They've got a great story going on in the Shield, and you got to really build that thing slow because that kid's going to be a big superstar, but now is too soon. So, it was kind of fucked up from the word go.
I just don't think. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where it's going, but I'm pretty sure now that the whole CM Punk situation is not a work.
Well, it could have started off as a shoot and end up being, him. He ends up coming back, and it could be something that turns into a work, but organically started off as a shoot. So, if you were CM Punk, if you had some words to tell CM Punk, some advice, what would you say to him?
I think he's needed to have rested up for a long time. And I watched I don't know if you've seen the video Mick Foley's, I think he put it up on YouTube or something like that. It's about 5 minutes long, and he was talking about him needing a rest and his promos and those pipe bombs have not been as prominent as what they were maybe 2-3 years ago. And I think that has shown. And I think he probably, if he has walked away now, I think he's probably best that he just, rests himself up, gets himself back to where he was and find a love for it again before he comes back.
But the thing you also got to understand about a promo is, a lot of times, when he first started getting hot a couple of years ago, and then they just started giving him some mic time just for the sake of mic time so that he could fulfill, a little bit of a promo and some time on the show, sometimes that can work against you. You have to have a reason to pick up that horn, and he is a wonderful, great promo. Very articulate, eloquent, very well thought out with a great delivery. But all of a sudden, if they just handed Stone Cold the microphone every single Monday night and just wanted me to hear me flap my gums to cut a promo, it would have run its course very soon. You have to have a reason to cut promos. And maybe, as Mick Foley said, the promos or the pipe bombs haven't been what they used to be. It's the motivation and the situation that he's placed in which really dictates those promos. So I don't think that you could fault CM Punk for the promos. If you had, as we wrap this call up, David, if you had something to tell WWE Creative, what would you tell them in 15 seconds?
In 15 seconds, I would tell them, open your ears, listen to what people are chanting at you. Week in, week out. I think people are tired of Cena and Orton, and they want something fresh. And I think Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns and a lot of other guys on there are what people want to see right now.
Duly noted. Go ahead.
As long as it's built up right, it's got to be built up right. You can't just throw them in there because else that's just doing the same as what they're doing now with likes of Batista. But as long as they build them up right, the fans obviously want to see them. So build them up right and give us fans what we want.
Give the fans what they want. But and again, with all due respect to Cena Orton, they're in between a rock and a hard place. They know those two guys know that they've wrestled each other 100 times. But all of a sudden, when that's who the powers that be want them to dance with themselves again, it is what it is. You can't fault those guys for that.
Yeah, definitely. Cena's he is in a hard place. He's damned if he does. He's damned if he doesn't. No matter what he does.
He is, and people want to turn him heel or stop shoving him down our throats. But
I don't think that
he's not going to be a heel. He's the face of the company. He's just
people wouldn't buy it.
He's the number one guy there. Believe me, whether people boo him or they cheer him, they love to do either or. But they all respect him, and I have a ton of respect for him. He's had about 11-year run. If there's someone better than CM Punk, they will come out and if there is someone better than John Cena, he will move in front of John Cena. That guy has not arrived just yet, or it is not his time, because Vince will hold certain people back for certain reasons, but he's a businessman, and if there's a guy that can replace John Cena, he will replace John Cena.
It's just right. He is the face, whether people like it or not. When people talk about wrestling history, they always say Hogan, yourself, John Cena, and that next person hasn't turned up yet.
And we'll see if they do. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in all the way from UK and the persistence to keep coming back. You ain't no damn quitter. Opening up a can of audio whoop-ass here on the Steve Austin Show. I'll catch your ass down the road.
Take care, pal.
All right, everybody, phone calls lighting up the switchboard. Stacy over there wiping beads of sweat off her brow. We're working her tail off, but I ain't done yet. I just got to take a minute to thank my sponsors, and that includes DDP Yoga. Yeah, that's right, my buddy Diamond Dallas Page's program, and it's going to make achieving your fitness goals for 2014 real easy. Dig this. DDP Yoga is a proven workout program that has changed the lives of thousands of people all over the world and is now being offered to listeners of the Steve Austin Show at a discounted rate. So here's what you get with DDP Yoga. You're going to get a grid chart to plan your workouts, a nutrition guide, and a reference poster with the 12 core positions that make up the DDP Yoga workout. The Max Pack includes 15 workouts that anyone at any level can perform and see results with. You can even download your workouts for exercise and on the go. Hey, go to ddpyoga.com/Austin to take advantage of a special offer only available to listeners of the Steve Austin Show. That's ddpyoga.com/Austin to get this deal. But you better get a move on it because this special offer is only available for a limited time. All right, folks, coming right back. Steve Austin here. We're taking your phone calls. We're going full speed ahead. We can't stop now. Daniel from North Carolina. Daniel, good morning. What you got for me this morning?
One of my favorite wrestlers growing up in North Carolina was Bobby Eaton, and I hear you speak so highly of him, and I just want to know if you had any good stories about Mr. Eaton.
No, I got a bunch of good stories about Bobby Eaton. I tell you what, when that was the first title I ever won. When I got to WCW, I won the World Television Championship from Bobby Eaton, won half the Midnight Express, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And Bobby was one of those kind of guys that you could ask a lot of guys why they did something, and they'll give you a long, in-depth explanation as far as psychology and why they did what they did. When you would ask Bobby, Bobby would kind of be like, I don't know, boy. And he just knew what to do, when to do it. And I understand he's taught a lot of guys. I think he was down there in the Florida Center training WWE guys for a little bit. But he was one of those guys. Bobby traveled with a gigantic duffel bag. And when we used to do TV tapings at Center Stage back in Atlanta, me, Bobby Eaton, and Dustin Rhodes would all dress back in that little back